Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Sherry Fishman here. I am the chairperson of the Marketing Innovation Committee. I'm so excited to have our virtual roundtable for today and really to talk about our topic. And before I start with this, I want to ask everyone to mute because this portion of our roundtable is recorded. So I wanted to get started and to talk to you about the topic. The topic today is hyperlocal targeting. We're going to dig in deep. And we have two different specific topics focusing on local. And today, your moderator is one of our task force chairs, and it's Mary Hanula from Ularity, and Mary and Ryan Hicks of Franchise Suppliers Network have worked tirelessly on vetting facilitators from our committee and from our committee at large, and building a whole year full of topics and preparing it just for you. So you walk away from this hour, it's an hour, with so much to share with your team and great best practices to use on your own. So to get started, why don't I turn it over to you, Mary? And just so you know, it's going to be a brief intro, and then she's going to explain specific housekeeping items and explain how the flow is going to go. So we are efficiently working through and having discussions, coming back and forth so that you get that jam-packed hour. Mary, take it away.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Everyone, we're really excited that you're here. Welcome to this year's first virtual roundtable. We're going to be talking about hyperlocal targeting and community engagement. For those of you who may not know myself, I am Mary Hanula. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing for Ularity. I am filling in for Ryan Hicks, as Sherry said, who can't be here. I'm really excited to see such a great turnout. The IFA's Marketing and Innovation Committee has always had the goal of fostering connections and sharing knowledge to really elevate not only ourselves, but our marketing strategies within our brands. Before we jump in, I want to take a moment to introduce our facilitators who will be guiding us through today's session. How it goes is that we'll go into breakout groups for each different topic. This is a place where you can really meet new people, say hi to old friends, and then talk best practices and insights. So if I call your name, these are the people that are guiding us. They took the time today. They're fantastic. They can wave, do a handstand, or rock with it when I call them. But first up, we have Mitch Baker. He is the VP of Marketing for Robex. We also have Jamie Isaacs, President of Allpoint PR. Jeremy Leduc, EVP of Franchising for Bridgeline. Kirk Allen, COO and co-founder of Reshift Media. And last but not least, Sherry Fishman, CEO of Fishman PR. So getting started, I'm excited to dive deep. I think we can really start off with hyperlocal targeting and that topic, and we'll have them put us in the breakout rooms now. So you'll probably get a notification right on your screen and just join it.
Thanks, Mary. Hello, all, and welcome back from your breakouts. I hope that you all had very lively conversations. I think that we are waiting for Mary to get back into the main group to start leading the discussion and the wrap up. So Mary, have you gotten back yet?
I'm here and I can start off with my group and then I'll popcorn to another facilitator. We had a great conversation in my breakout session of really using social channels and social media to be your ally for hyperlocal targeting. Corporate teams being able to take the specific demographics that each franchise location may have and market to them as well. And also the location owner marketing in their own communities. We talked about leveraging YouTube, different social channels, and even connecting people in your community and maybe using them in your ads, obviously with consent. and really having a digital focus, and also print advertising kind of coming back in style to make a mark. Yeah. So
Great.
all good stuff, all good stuff. Jamie, do you want to go next?
Yeah. We had a great diverse group in terms of franchisee, or I'm sure, sorry, consumer, kind of focus on franchisee support and franchise development, as well as suppliers. And I felt like the two franchisors in our discussion did, kind of talk about hyperlocal when it comes to digital, but they still said the rubber meets the road with networking, knowing your community very well. That hyperlocal really came down to shaking hands and being at the networking groups, and really diving in to the movers and shakers in the community. And that's a big part of how they support their franchisees, is giving them that guidance on how to insert yourself into the conversation in your community. We had two kind of home services franchisors in the group, so that's a real big networking kind of concept and industry, where one referral from the right resource and you could be into a whole new set of clientele. So we talked about everything from your chambers and home builders associations, networking groups, to also just being visible in your community with things like using your vehicles that might be branded in strategic ways. So really being present in your community, both physically and emotionally connected to your community.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Jeremy, do you want to go next?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was a great conversation. We had a home franchise, a home services franchise as well, and kudos to them because they actually mentioned yard signs and door knocking. So that's pretty old school. So love to hear that. We talked a lot about pay-per-click. That was a big driver, and it also really helps with attribution because you can clearly know that's where your money's going and getting conversions. So we had a long conversation about Google's Performance Max campaigns and that they're performing pretty well for a couple folks. Somebody mentioned a trick that they kind of fell into, which was, really think about where you're going to send that traffic and what conversion you want. Do you want a phone call? Do you want a text? Do you want a form fill? And they actually decided to send their ad campaigns to their Google business profile page, their GMB page, versus their website because they felt that would convert more. I know as a franchisee, my GMB page for Sport Clips is hugely important. Getting reviews on it, we can convert from it. So I really encourage you to work with your franchisees on their Google business profile page. That's for sure. And then we also talked about, there was some geofencing Facebook ads. Somebody mentioned that the Messenger ads are really performing well for them. And then similar to what everybody said here is really make sure you work with the franchisee and all the staff, because it's the meeting folks. It's the ability to build a culture on, getting into the community, going to local events, asking for reviews. That's the culture you want to build across, everybody in that local community.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. Mitch, you want to go?
Yeah, absolutely. So it seemed like the majority of the feedback and the input from everyone is that really targeting, being able to target, right? We talked about utilizing data from our real estate groups. Most of it, many of us have either a real estate consultant or a brokerage firm, or internally that has got access to data houses like Placer or eSite. So they really provide a lot of very hyper-targeted, very detailed information as to sort of where the people are, who they are, obviously what they like, their age group, to be able to pretty much accurately target, who the messaging is going to go towards. Also that some people also use Meta, and their services seem to be fairly robust in being able to target also audiences that are very much on sort of within the local trade area, and without a doubt, based on demographics and likes and history. Somebody also mentioned, working with with one of their data groups just to create lookalike audiences, which just expanded their world of being able to target people. So while they're targeting a local community, it's like, who else looks like that exact consumer within that trade area? So you basically have the ability to expand upon your overall target. And then not too many can predict what the ROI would be, because obviously a lot of it, I mean, even though you target, but I mean, a lot of it is just, just not a surefire way, unfortunately. But again, at least utilizing some of the data from, as an example, as I mentioned, some of those real estate aggregators or real estate data houses can be a great way to really hone in on who the target is.
All great points. Thank you for sharing. Kirk, you are up next.
Sure. We had a really nice mix in our group. Some interesting comments came out. Jeff from Donato's Pizza, they're hyperlocal. And as all we know, pizza is very local. Their customers are basically within 1 to 2 miles of their locations. They have a loyalty app that they are really pushing these days, has over 1 million users, and they used to use physical coupons. So those physical coupons have been replaced by the loyalty app, and they push out single-use coupons that way. So that was an interesting point of view. Then Maria from Zoom One, she brought up this fairly new Apple QR code that you can have in-store, where there's a QR code, someone scans it, it'll automatically deliver you discounts. So you don't have to have the expense of building an app. So that was kind of a new one that the group we had a good chat about. And then Catherine from Curious Jane talked about connecting with the community. So I know that's the next subject, but it came up in our group already, and a number of you have already mentioned it. But and we talked about how it's one thing to say it and try to get the franchisees to do it, but we also talked about making sure you capture examples of the franchisees who do it right. And we talked about this one particular franchisee that sponsors local baseball teams. They sponsor local charities. They attend their local fair, and they also welcome any new neighbor. And more often than not, it's a franchise that move into their mall. They go to the opening, introduce themselves, take a picture, post it on their own social media saying, "Welcome to the neighborhood," which I thought was really good. But capturing those and sharing those so other franchisees see actual examples was a good way to show how to connect with the community rather than just saying this is something you should do. But those were the some of the items that came out of our group.
Those are great. And Sherry, last but not least.
Thank you. Oh, well, thank you so much. We had a lively conversation. We had a mix of in-store experience and home service. And so we talked a little bit about different kind of tools working from the AI side, like, and there was one in particular that was mentioned called Placer AI, versus some of our home service brands where we were talking about the traditional lawn signs and the home service events that you went to. And really what it came down to, because so much of this has been repeated, and that's part of being the last one to share, it goes back to focusing on those ways in which to do local targeting that are different than your digital marketing, than your AI or your grassroots. We actually had from one of our participants talk about influencer relations and the power of influencer relations. because, and we all, of course, put it together with my PR background of how that integrates with all that you're doing already in your toolkit, and it works so very well. He talked about how it's an experience. It's as he said, it's like going to a water park without water. So it's Slick City, and so exciting how they encourage people to come to their location and actually convince parents to do so. The other very important topic we talked about was how do you score what you're doing individually for your different brands, and it setting up scorecards within each organization, and many times setting it up so that the franchisees see how well they're doing versus others, adding that competitive side to get better, how they can do better, scoring how well they're doing, so next time they do it better, and so that they can also reach out and have that community of support of together we can get better at getting more customers to come to our locations, to hire us and continually be loyal to us. And that's really, I think, that in a nutshell.
Love it. Thank you guys so much for taking those notes down, and I'm glad the conversation was great. We are going to go to the breakout session for the next topic, which is community engagement. So you'll be put into those here in a second.
Well, great. Well, welcome back, everybody. Hope that you had great discussion. So wanted to see if we can get started on putting together our highlights for our second topic, community engagement. So Mary, want to get started?
Let's do it. Yeah, no, we had a really good conversation. We had some people on the agency side, some people on the franchise side. Couldn't emphasize enough connecting with local colleges and schools, advertising in their yearbook, be part of their fundraisers, take advantage of all the clubs if it's a college, partner with local radio stations, announcing a special discount or exclusive promo. You can reach community members that way, really get down to the grassroots level. We talked a lot about local influencers and the impact that can have on a community, seeing them with your product and services. And yeah, just making sure that your franchisees and those locations are getting involved in their own communities, because the way that they're going to stand out is by making that impression and continuing to nurture it and those relationships and being remembered. So that's ours. Jeremy, you want to go?
Yeah, we had a lot of really good ideas here. I have to start with one that I thought was just really cool. Is there was somebody gave the example of a franchise who had a digital sign, and they were constantly changing out the message on it for local successes that happened. So if the local high school was driving by to a game, it would actually say a message to them. And I mean, that's a pretty good idea, to constantly be changing out your messaging sign. But similar, we had a lot of different ideas, like, sponsoring local games. I know that, as a hair salon, we were able to actually go to a local sports game, actually bring a chair, do neck and trim cleanups, and bring all the stylists. So we had a huge presence at a local ball game, and that stuff's really fun. Events fairs are really good. And somebody gave the great idea of, don't just go to the event, follow it up with a great social media, blitz after that. You create a ton of energy, you're there in the community, you're shaking hands, you're meeting people, but then follow that up and put it all on social media that you were there. And that kind of really gives that even more legs. Cause marketing is a big one. Get involved in local organizations that are cause marketing. Private schools versus public schools. Private schools have a bill, you can actually advertise at private schools. So that's always helpful. Yeah, those are some of the ideas we had.
Thank you.
Sherry, do you want to go? I know we're 5 minutes away, so I hate to do this to you, but if we can speed round the highlights.
I'm going to speed round the highlights. So I have to say that talking about something different when you talk about local community, specifically in our group, outside of all, the cause marketing and actually doing that acts of kindness, was an idea from one of our participants, specifically talking about how franchisees can do a better job in their local market. They actually came up with a media kit for community engagement, and it's the gutter concept. And they had a gutty bag full of candy with promotional materials that really shares their core values of who they are and why you should engage with them, why you should partner with them, all the good stuff that they do, and that was a fabulous visual. I can just imagine it on my counter. So that was like,
Love it.
That's
Jamie, what
quick.
about you?
That was a quick session, but we got everyone to share a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think the overall consensus is that giving back and doing well for the community is absolutely needed. So a lot of us talked about fundraising or contributions in meaningful ways to communities that allow you to build relationships with your community. But that's kind of a PRable moment when you have the give back component. And so philanthropy, charity was talked about a lot. And really picking the right partner was talked about too. One that aligns with your values, one that aligns with who you are as an organization and the people behind it was talked about as well. So we felt like, not just kind of choosing a national partner or one that, just simply has a name, but one that truly aligns with your values, whether that's local, regional, or national, what was talked about. There was also a comment made about utilizing school relationships, and it's always hard to get into schools no matter what kind of business you are, and so we got a lot of input on how to get into schools, and I thought that was critical for our group. I won't tell you what they are, but it was good. I have no more time.
And then Kirk, I think you can round us out.
Great. So just quickly, I know we got 2 minutes left. Interesting, Jamie, you're talking about getting into the schools. In our group, they talked about volunteering to be on committees for different community organizations, which I thought was a great idea, kind of just like the IFA, right? And then there was another gentleman who said, we've got corporate stores and we're not doing a good job of community involvement. So we need to clean up our own backyard first and then set that as an example. So they've got someone out in the field doing the work, investigating who's doing a good job, what works. And then we also had a gentleman who has a printing company and they've been around 50 years. They're doing the old school stuff like the signage, logo, QR code. Even though they're very established, it still works. And it was a big part of their community involvement when they are at a community event. And then the last one was sharing good ideas. So sharing successful events. Make sure you share those with the group in some format, whether it's an internal intranet or on social media, and then through email. But really great ideas, and it could have gone on for longer. So thank you. Great input.
Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much, Mary. I'm sorry if I cut you off, but
Oh, of course.
yeah, thank you so much, Mary, for filling in. You did an amazing job. We're going to invite you back to do that, obviously, in your role. So excited how well this went on. We will continue to get better at staying within that hour, but I think we did it. We hope that you are leaving with a lot more insight and great nuggets and best practices to bring back to your team. We enjoyed having you here. As far as next time you'll see us, it is June 26th is our next session. And I'm trying to remember, it is on consumer and brand marketing, which is going to be a fave, I'm sure, for all those that are here and others that will hopefully get. Please, if you'd like, share on your social how much you like this, because we really want more people to come. Thanks so much. And once again, Mary did an awesome job, and all my facilitators did awesome jobs as well. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy.